Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 32 of the Railcraft server Let's Play. And as you can see, I have in front of me a computer. And you may have seen this in a previous episode, Sipping Past, and this was a tier 2 case previously, but I just upgraded it into a tier 3 case because I needed it to fit all the stuff in it that I wanted. In here we have the BIOS chip, we have a tier 2 graphics card, tier 2 CPU, tier 2 memory, and a tier 2 hard drive. But there is one thing missing that I want to make, and we're going to assemble that right now. That is an internet card. The reason for all of this is that I realized that, or I discovered that the clipboard you have, or the amount of lines you can paste in to the OpenOS editor is limited to, I think it was 255 lines. So I can no longer, and the reactor program grew beyond that, so I can no longer paste the entire program in one go. So I want to use the pastebin program instead, but there is no internet card in the robot, and I don't think I can fit one in because of the complexity restriction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a computer where I can pull down the program, and then I can copy the program into a disk, a floppy disk, to then put it into the robot, because the robot has a disk drive in it, which is handy. Why? Nothing is missing. I'm supposed to make this in the wrong order? Huh. Oh well, let's make these first then. And then this. And I don't have room for it. Dang it. Oh, let's do that and then put away these for now. But yeah, so I'm going to need the internet card, of course, to get access to the pastebin program, and then I am going to be able to use it to pull down the program, which I have on my pastebin account, of course. And then we can put it in the robot to update it. Now, it's a shortcut to... Alright. Those chips need the comparators. And I suppose I might as well make those. Okay, so then we make the wireless network card. Go through all of them. Then we need to make the interweb. And then we can finally make the internet card. Like so. And then we can put that into the computer. And the reason, of course, I had to upgrade to a tier 3 case was because I have two tier 2 cards here now. And the tier 2 case has one tier 2 slot, card slot, and a tier 1 card slot. So I couldn't fit both of these. I would have had to downgrade the graphics card, which I didn't really want to do. And then we have the OpenOS install disk here. Now, as you can see, I have a disk drive here, which I needed before, but the tier 3 case has a built-in disk drive, which doesn't render on the front, unfortunately. It's slightly disappointed by that, but oh well. So now we should be able to turn this on. Keep stepping on the table by accident. And we are in. So now we're going to first install OpenOS. And you can lay out the keyboard like this, which I like to do, rather than attaching it to the side of the monitor. Because as long as it is in the block space next to the monitor, it will see it. I think this looks pretty nice. You have a nice dark oak table here that I made. You can also click the keyboard. You can click the keyboard or the screen. Something else we are going to want is an empty floppy disk, of course. So we're going to need some circuit plates. So let's grab some clay. And then we're going to need a piece of cactus, which we have a supply of here. As you can see, the cart is doing its job, getting reeds and cactus and peat and stuff from the farms. Everything has been running fine, I think. Probably. Oh. What's happened with the saplings? Huh. That's odd. Are they all ending up out here? This has... I can't read that, but 2,000 something saplings. And 6,000 something spruce wood. I might need to arrange for a shut-off system that will turn the relevant farms off when storage fills up, because this is going to fill up eventually as well, of course, which is potentially bad. Because I don't want the system, I don't want the carts to back up, because then if another farm is supposed to keep running, it's not going to be able to, because the cart will be stuck somewhere. So yeah, I am going to need to look into that. We might do something with that in the next episode, I suppose. It'll probably involve signal boxes to send signals to the farms to shut them off. But I'll have to have a think about that in between episodes. Okay, so there's our circuit boards. I want to call them plates, circuit plates for some reason. Then we're going to need a disc platter, a piece of paper, and a lever. Lever is easy. Paper is here. And a disc platter. We're going to need a few more iron nuggets. Perfect. Disc platter goes like that. And then I think we should be able to do it that. Now this should be done. We can reboot into OpenOS. We're going to remove this for simplicity because we don't need it in there anymore. Could put it in the other disk drive, of course, but I don't really want it in there. So I'd have to make sure I went into the right one. So let's have a peek on the side here now. Should have paste bin open. There we go. Let's copy that code. So we should have the pastebin program available. So we're going to pastebin get and then the code. And if you want to, you can copy that code, unless I decide that you can't see it. Then I'm going to call the program plutonium.lua. Now we're going to download that. And then we're in home right now. So if we back up one step. Oh, no. Dang it. I want to do that. And then in the directory called MNT, or mount, we'll have the hard drive. One of these is the hard drive, which starts with 6EC, and this starts with 381. So that is the floppy disk, and that is our hard drive. So if we go back into home, and then we're going to copy the plutonium program into mount 381, and use the same name. And overheating. So yeah, now we can see that we are using 512 bytes in there. Ah, jeez. I think it's summer right now because it's quite hot. Wish I had a way to cool down, but I don't, unfortunately. I would like a cooling coil, would be nice. Perhaps buy that from someone, because I don't have access to bliss rods, which is required to make it. Freeze rod, oh, that's what it's called. Can find them in the world as well, apparently. Okay, that should do for now. So the program should be on the floppy disk. So we're going to grab that. We're going to head down to here. You've run out of power. I thought I shut you off. Let's see. Whoops. I wish I could use the charger to discharge an item into the robot, but it can only charge items you put into it. What I could potentially do, although that might cause a bit of an issue. I think, do I have a bat box or something somewhere? I might. I don't think so, but I might. Probably not. Maybe up here. No. I have a Stirling generator. I have a solid Stirling generator and a solid fueled firebox. Oh, and the computer is being fed power through the back. I had a cable coming from there, so... Oh, jeez. Don't know what's happening with the frame rate. Okay, so... if I temporarily remove this, which would normally feed the charger... I put a Stirling generator there, and a solid fuel firebox there, turn it into that, and then I can have a bunch of saplings, because I have a ton of those. Throw that in there, and this should start charging up the robot, and as soon as the reactor starts running again, it will receive more power. So we'll burn a bunch of saplings to charge it up first to a decent level. And the new program, the update that we are installing, has code to shut the robot down if the power level gets too low, I think. Pretty sure I put that in, right? I don't actually remember. Hold on. Actually, no, I didn't do that. What did I do? I changed something. But I hadn't done that yet, apparently. Maybe I was going to, and then I got distracted by something else. What I could do is have the... I could have the... Oh. This is horrible. Why is this reset? I don't even remember what... Ooh, that's terrible. I don't even remember which style I used. Okay, I think it was this one, maybe. Okay. Maybe what I can do is in the function for set resume, after it's done this, I could have it check the power level and shut down the robot if it's too low, like if it's, say, below 50%, because that means it will have been waiting for something for too long. Although that might not actually work very well, because if it's waiting for an item, it will be stuck in the find item function. Find and move to. So, So it's going to be in here. Maybe at the end of this function is where I should check power. Really what I should do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to make a function for it, and then I can move that around to test as needed. So let's undo that first. And then we'll make a function called check power. And I don't actually... Well, I don't remember how to do that. I think it's part of the computer component. Let's quickly pop in here. So... Oh wait, no, not the component. It's not a component. Let's see. Energy. That's the current energy level. And then there's probably a function called max energy that tells us the... Yeah, so if we take computer energy divided by computer max energy, we'll get a percentage. So we're currently at about 30%. And yeah, so we can use that. So I think I might need to require a computer because it's an API. Maybe. Because you need to require a component. And it might be slightly confusing because they are available by default in the Lua prompt or the Lua interpreter. So you don't need to require them there. And then we can do local level equals computer energy divided by computer max energy. Dang it. Come on. There we go. And for simplicity, let's also... No. Don't need to do local again. That's stupid. Level equals level times 100. And this will turn the decimal value into a percentage, proper percentage value. And then we can do a print of that. Say power level is level percent. And then we'll do if level less than 50, then we'll print that message. And it should just be computer shut down to close OpenOS and power down the robot. And if it's above 50%, it's obviously not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check power. Because I made it a function, I can do it in multiple places. So I'm going to do it after each check resume check, or set resume check. Yeah, set resume. And then I'm also going to do it in the find and move to check just before determining if it should loop or not. So now I'm going to copy all of this, and I'm going to update my program on pastebin. Save changes. And then we can head back to Minecraft. We'll shut the robot down for now. Does this run out of fuel? Yeah. Okay. So go back to the computer, and we're going to rerun the pastebin program, but I'm going to add a parameter or an option -f, which means force, which will normally, if the file already exists that you're trying to write to, it will stop. But with force, it will replace that file with the new downloads. It's going to update the program. And we want to put the floppy disk back in. And then we're going to rerun the copy program and overwrite. And now we have the updated version with the changes I just made on here. Then we're going to put this into the disk slot in the robot, to boot it back up, and then we're going to ls mount, and the floppy disk is named the same thing, of course. I'm not sure why there are two things here. There has some component in the robot has to have a file system in it, but we know that 381 is our floppy disk, so we're going to copy from mount 381 plutonium, and then we want to replace plutonium.lua in the current directory, home, which is where we are, with that. And we're going to overwrite completely. And then we can run plutonium program as normal. And the reactor was burned out, of course. It doesn't look like it's... Ah, yes. Okay, there it goes. So, as you can see, it's found out that the power level was too low. I probably want to add a check to the beginning of the program. But it did do the emptying into here, so this is going to heat up and process the fuel rods as usual. Don't have any overclockers on me, unfortunately. Although, I don't think, if I recall correctly, those don't make it heat up faster anyway. But yeah, so it should have set the resume value in the correct spot. So it went through this bit, then it turned around, then it dumped the slots into the sorting machine. So it should have gotten to here. And then here it waits for the plutonium back, but it shut down before then. So it was probably this set resume that triggered the first power check. So used find and move to, which is this, but it didn't get to here. Oh yeah, it's returning here. But that's probably a good thing. It was a good thing in this case because it's doing the it put the fuel rods into here, and then it shut down, so it will be conserving power. And then I can come here when the fuel rods are done. Notice that it's shut down. It will have received the plutonium from the sorting machine. And then I can turn the robot back on, and it should resume the program to looking for the fuel rods. Because set resume is going to be 1 as set here. So it's going to skip this bit. And then it's going to try to do this. But since it doesn't have anything to dump, it's not going to actually do anything. And then it's going to, because resume is 1, it's less than or equal to 1. It's going to come to this bit and find the plutonium and then resume the refueling operation. So that is probably perfectly fine. And this is almost done. We're going a little on overtime, but since there isn't that much time left, we should be fine. And it's almost heated up. With the overclocker upgrades, the actual processing should be pretty quick. It's a good thing this stores a decent amount of power, so it can run without being recharged by the reactor, because none of these machines have access to the power stored up there. And this charge pad is discharged, of course, because it's only fed by the reactor. I have power up here from the windmill, but that doesn't recharge this. And I'm overheating again. Oh, and this is out of power. Great. Do have this that I can put in here. Might need a few... What? Oh. Might need a few capacity upgrades for that. So it stores enough power to run through a cycle or two without needing to be recharged by anything. Then can replenish that power once the reactor is back to running. Of course, I think it used more power than it should or would have if I hadn't put the overclockers in it. What happened to the plutonium? Did I accidentally click that? Fortunately, you can pick up radioactive materials in another inventory. You just can't put them in your own inventory. Okay, so now we can start this back up. Even though we are low on power. And then we can run the plutonium program again, and it resumes to 1. Okay, so to fix that, what I'm going to need to do is put in an argument when you run the program that overrides the power check so it doesn't shut down again. So we'll probably have a look at that and that other thing I was talking about, this thing. Either or both of those in the next episode. We'll see which I do, how long it takes and such. So, with that, I will see you then.